Hello, everybody. In today's video in Fair Verona, where we lay our Kermits, you heard it here last. So Beck, Amber's ex, went on their channel and came for Amber and basically said a whole bunch of interesting things and responded to Amber's comments about Beck. Recently, I had made a video we had discussed where Amberlynn went into somebody's live stream and made all of these derogatory comments about Beck, and Beck is responding to those comments on their channel. I will link their channel down below. Go ahead and check out their channel and definitely subscribe. All right, so we're going to get into it, but have you ever asked yourself, have I ever wanted to purchase a Kermit? Because, you know, Kermits are always involved in some tea and some drama. Well, the ones that live with me currently. So have you ever wanted to purchase a Kermit? Well, now you can in my game show host voice. Like, I think like a few people like my game show host voice. Not that many people, but you know, hey, at least we have some people liking it. Well, now you can. This is my affiliate link. If you would like to purchase a Kermit and you do so, please let me know when he ships. All right, so we're going to get into all the drama. Or my name isn't Bob or Wilbur. None of those are my names. Everything I'm saying is just for entertainment purposes only. Nothing is meant to be taken seriously whatsoever. I am sharing my own opinions, not facts, based on publicly accessible information, first made public by public figures. Please do not go to anyone's channel and leave them mean-spirited, negative, discouraging, disparaging comments. Very interesting information about Rarity. Amber tried to give Rarity away before, and what a coincidence, lost her. Let's get into it.
While I've grown as a person and have become more aware of the mistakes I've made in the past, it's become embarrassing to have ever been a part of Amber's life on and off YouTube.
Amberlynn did not shower.
My goal after the breakup was to move on as an individual and separate myself from what happened in the past. But when that audience consists mainly of people who have heard of me from Amber's videos, separating the two while still existing online became impossible.
Okay, so I think that's a really refreshing statement to make, that being associated with Amber is just like embarrassing. It is. And you know why? It's because Amberlynn degraded and debased Beck continuously, not just in private, but also in public. What was the point of Amberlynn posting videos where she literally told Beck, yeah, you should probably stay down in the pool, like you shouldn't even get up, like making all these implications? Like those are things that are on Amber's channel to this day, and Amber refuses to delete any of that. Oh my God, it was my life. It was what was happening in the past. You degrade and debase people in private and in public. And in my opinion, when Tommy and Amberlynn break up, just like she's already trashed wifey, she will be trashing Tommy. Obviously, as far as Beck's point that, like, you know, it's hard to separate like who Beck was in the past and, you know, who Beck is today. Look, the community, in any community, okay, any online community, will always make negative statements about people without knowing what really happened, without understanding, as Amberlynn would say, understandment, without having an understandment. I'm reminded of a sonnet by Amberlynn Shakespeare in Fair Verona, where we lay our Hans Christian Amberlynn. You know, the community is always going to have something positive to say and something negative to say, and that's how any community is. So that's just unfortunately comes with, you know, making videos.
In my Q&A with Karina, I talked about the money Amber owed me. I never did see any of that money and still haven't. For a while, I was in contact with an attorney who claimed to be able to help me get the money back that I earned working for Amber, but it wasn't possible to serve her anything without an updated address. More time passed, and with the distance growing between myself and the public, I just let it go.
Yes, Beck was hired. I love the word hired, when somebody pays somebody to do something, and there was a verbal agreement between Amber and Beck, not just privately, but publicly. So yeah, Beck never saw any of that money. This is just my opinion on this lawyer that you hired. I don't know who this lawyer was, but I would get a different lawyer. Most of the time when you are trying to serve somebody in a lawsuit, there is a very easy way to find out where the person lives, and you need to get, in my opinion, a different attorney who is going to find out Amber's address and serve Amber with a lawsuit. That is my opinion. I am unsure why the attorney that you were working with couldn't help you find Amber's current address, but this is one of the easier parts about, in my opinion, about lawsuits than anything else. So if you really do want to sue Amber for unpaid wages to you because you were an employee of Amber, then just get a different attorney. That's my advice.
But recently I was told that Amber has started talking about me again. And the more time that passes, the more she believes that I'm being quiet because I'm weak. She lies about me because she thinks that she has power over me and that my fear of the public reaction will shut me up and that everyone will be left with no choice but to believe whatever lies she spread. Well, she's wrong about me and she no longer has that power over me. I want to be the one who tells my story.
Okay, so I think that Amberlynn will never get over Beck dumping her. I think that she believes that she is above other people, and she certainly believes that she's above Beck. And I think that her whole relationship with Beck, she believed that she was just better than Beck. I think that when Beck broke up with Amber and broke up the engagement, the only thing that Amberlynn ever wants to be is claimed on the internet, and she wants to be married. I think she only agreed to marry Beck because she just wanted to be married. It didn't matter to who. And I think that ultimately Amberlynn's narcissistic injury of being broken up with by somebody that she never thought would do anything against her and never thought would leave, even though, like Amberlynn believes that everybody doesn't see the reality. Amber, people see the reality. The reality is your narcissistic injury of Beck leaving you. This is why you keep talking about them. Like, the best thing to do for Amber is to stop making up lies and stories about Beck. Honestly, you are already 3 different girlfriends after. Like, you're 3 girlfriends in. Like, you've had Valentine, of course, in your head. You've had Wifey, and you're now in a soft, gentle, loving, amazing relationship with Tommy. While with Tommy, you are still talking about your exes. She's never gonna get over Beck leaving her.
I'm going to show a screenshot of a live that Amber commented on about me and address some things. But first, I want to point out that she continues to use an incorrect name, even though she has been told that I don't go by that name anymore. I feel it's disrespectful to continue to call me by my old name, despite me saying myself that I now go by Beck, and her being corrected by viewers and reaction channels many times. I'm not surprised, however, as she has never respected me or anything I've said before now. She also used incorrect pronouns, but I understand that I've stated in the past that I was okay with she, they pronouns. I'm stating now that I only use they.
Whenever I make YouTube videos about Beck, I always call Beck Beck and use the pronoun they. And I have a lot of people in my comment section saying that I should stop doing that, or why am I doing that? Well, because it really takes 1 second to respect a person's name change and pronoun. It's not that difficult, and it shows basic human decency and respect. Amberlynn knows that Beck changed their name a long time ago. I know that because Amber has a video in which she put in her description box that she does know that. She continues to use an incorrect pronoun and an incorrect name for Beck because she knows that this is disrespectful and she's just trying to disrespect Beck. It's really not that deep. Amberlynn has a long-standing history of, first of all, using the wrong names, also misgendering. There's a very famous interview with Mr. Snowflake and Casey, where Amberlynn actually made statements to Casey saying that Casey could never be a father and all these other things. She has a very long-standing history of doing this on purpose because she wants to create pain and strife in a person's life. It's really not that difficult to understand where Amber's coming from. She wants to create pain and she just wants to disrespect people. That's Amber's whole thing. And I don't think it takes a very long time to just say Beck and they. I think that it's good that Beck has addressed this. So now everybody knows, yes, Amber will continue to call Beck by their past name because that is the type of person that Amber is.
So the first thing she said is, when we broke up, I felt bad, so I let her have all the money she needed, but Feline didn't like that, which made sense. She gave me $100, and that's what I used to go get the U-Haul with. And I only had 1 day with that U-Haul because I didn't have enough money to pay for an extra day. And I was trying to rush and pack everything that I could as quickly as possible. And I was running out of time, so I had a little breakdown and was crying about it, saying I didn't know how I was going to pay for extra time with the U-Haul because I didn't have the time to get everything. And she started laughing about it. So she was laughing about the fact that I couldn't afford to continue to have the U-Haul for longer. So no, she obviously didn't feel bad and she didn't care at all. And she did not give me all the money that I needed, or else why would I have been struggling and crying about the fact that I couldn't afford to have the U-Haul longer? And about using the fundraiser money on my old car, that's exactly what I did. I got the car fixed because of that help, and I was extremely thankful for it. There was a little bit of money left over that I put toward bills like insurance and the car payment. The only portion used for anything else was the 12 or so dollars that Amber begged me to give her for the Netflix account I'd still been using.
Thanks for nothing.
Okay, so I wish that I could say that I was surprised at this, but I am not. So, as far as the $12 that Amberlynn demanded from Beck for Netflix, Amber, I honestly can only say, see how you treat others who have done everything for you. This person, Beck, literally took you to every single medical appointment, drove you around everywhere. During renal failure, you forced them and made them film videos while they were literally incoherent. Why did you need that $12 so much? Is it shocking? No. Is it surprising? No. She didn't think that Beck was, like on her level. That's what I think this is about. It's not just narcissistic injury. She believes she's better than Beck. Look, let's just say it. Amberlynn hired Beck to do live streams, with Amber. Beck was the reason, in my opinion, that Amberlynn made any video on those live streams, Like, people tune in to see Beck, and Beck kept the show going. And so Amberlynn privately and publicly hired. When you hire people, when they are working for you, there's a verbal agreement, there's you know, private personal agreement and a verbal or written one. The bottom line is that, yeah, you do have to pay them. So Amberlynn never paid Beck for the live streams. That is what Beck has extensively said, and then demanded $12. And to add insult to injury, of course, she was so interested in laughing at Beck that Beck couldn't afford to live their life because they were leaving destitute because Amberlynn hired Beck. There was a verbal agreement and was not able to upkeep that agreement because she didn't want to. It's not like Amber didn't have money. She felt, in my opinion, since Beck dumped Amber, then Beck shouldn't have any money. That's very sad. Amber, it's very sad that you hired someone, they were your employee, and you didn't pay them. That's weird.
I was able to drive that car up until a few months ago because of those donations. I wouldn't have been able to do that without that help, and I will always be grateful for that. And side note, I did not have her debit card on me all the time. The only time I had it was whenever she would send me to do errands for her or to pick something up for her. And I always came back with a receipt to show her what had been bought with her debit card. The next messages say, "Gosh, I could say so many things, but I can't. She said she would sue me, so I have to shut up, but people would be shocked and not believe a word I say. Gosh, I wonder why they wouldn't believe you, Amber. You have a history of lying, and you're doing the same thing right now. You have nothing on me, and I know that. I did threaten to sue you, but that was to stop you from relentlessly talking about me like you were. You had no reason to talk about me. I've come out and said things only in response to you bringing me up. The threat to sue did not stop you, as seen in this screenshot. You haven't said these shocking things because they don't exist. Anything you could possibly say truly would be a lie. I will no longer stay silent if you try to spread lies about me. I've told parts of my story, and it's all been true, and never said in an insulting way either. I have so many gross things that I've seen you do, both to me and the people in my life, that I've kept quiet about because those things are embarrassing or have something to do with very personal matters. Despite how you've treated me, I still have empathy. However, if you want to lie about me, I won't hold back. I'll be brutally honest about things I know about you."
Okay, first of all, the thing about the debit card is ridiculous. I remember seeing videos of Amberlynn asking Beck to go to the bank with Amber's card, with her debit card. She never even went to the bank herself. She would always stay in the car and Beck would go to the bank. So Beck did absolutely everything for you. Look, this is all about financial mistreatment, and that's a nice word for it. Amberlynn paid the bills and asked Beck to quit their job. Okay. And then used money against Beck because what was happening is Amber was paying all the bills, right? And so she was paying for anything that Beck needed or wanted, and then used this against Beck. Okay, as soon as they broke up, as soon as these two people broke up, Amberlynn wanted Beck to pay rent. Sometimes people come here and they're like, well, was Beck ever on the lease? It was the person's apartment because Amberlynn went around saying, oh, it's my apartment. Well, it was both of yours apartment because Beck had stated in the past that they were on the lease. My point here is this: whether Beck had Amber's debit card in their possession because they were constantly driving Amber around and taking money out for Amber is irrelevant, because Amber tries to throw statements out without explaining them because she's hoping that you make up your own narrative. She's done this so many times to me as well. Rinse, lather, who cares? As far as what Beck is saying, I think Beck is correct. Definitely expose Amber as much as you want because she keeps lying about you. The problem here is that Amberlynn has seen that Beck has mainly been quiet, and like Beck says, like, Amber believes, oh, Beck is just going to stay quiet. Do not ever mistake anyone's being quiet. Like, people always think that if somebody doesn't respond to something, it means it's true or it means they're too afraid to speak up. No, that means that they're not interested in perpetuating a falsehood and a drama. Think that if Beck wants to expose the terrible things that Amberlynn had done to them and to the people around them, Amber always takes a person not responding for weakness, and that's just not the case here. If Beck wants to expose Amber, go ahead.
The next comment, she said she had a job that was ruining her back. I told her she didn't have to go through that. I was helping her. I made a lot of money and wanted to take that burden off of her. Yes, in the beginning, she did make it seem that me quitting my job would be beneficial for my health and that it wouldn't be so hard on me anymore. But I learned very quickly that whenever I did quit my job, that it was just a control tactic. She said she wanted to be the main breadwinner, and all the things that she said I would be able to do, like see my family more, those things didn't happen. I was just stuck taking care of her. And whenever I talked about trying to get a job again, she would just guilt trip me and say, well, I need you here. I need you to help take care of me and to help me take care of the animals. She would just guilt trip me into not trying to find another job. And the only things she really would buy me is like food and candy and t-shirts. So, whenever I would try to save up change, she would say things like, is that your funds for when you leave me? So I would even stop saving change to avoid that conflict with her. In the end, me quitting my job wasn't about helping me. It was about controlling me and keeping me under her thumb. And she did keep me away from my family. And whenever I would go see my family, she would time me on when I had to be back. And if I wasn't back by that time, then it would be a fight for the rest of the night. And then the next time that I would try to leave to go see anybody else, she would guilt trip me and say things along the lines of I didn't care about her and that I cared more about everybody else other than her.
Well, I think that Amberlynn deep down inside knew that she was eventually going to be dumped. I think that's why, she was saying that. It's like, a certain type of humor where you're saying something that is going to happen. Like she said, oh, is that the money that you're saving for when you're going to leave me? Yeah, because she was suspicious of Beck saving their own money in the relationship because she knew, I think, deep down inside, it's obvious that she must have understood. That's why she made that statement that Beck would leave if Beck had the funds to leave. At the end of the day, putting timers on when Amberlynn wanted to put the timers on when Beck was spending time with their family, it's just ridiculous. It is mistreating somebody and it's full control, it's manipulation. There's nothing more to say on that because Amber wanted Beck to be fully controlled by her so that Beck didn't ever leave and only did things for Amber. She wanted a full-time caretaker and lied and said, oh yeah, you leaving your job if I pay for everything would be better for your health and you could see your family more, and that didn't happen. Putting timers on how long people can stay with each other isn't just mistreating, it's full control. Amber had all the power. She had all the money, she had all the power, she had all the control. And I can understand why Beck didn't leave for a long time, because where were they going to go?
And then she said, if that makes me a bad guy, fine. I hear your opinion and it makes sense based off of what you know. But your opinion would probably change if you knew everything. I thought I was doing the right thing. If I could go back, I'd do everything differently. Saying if that makes me the bad guy is so obviously manipulative. You're framing what you did to me in this positive light so that it looks like your intentions were good when they weren't. You did a lot of bad. You said you'd do things different now, but you haven't taken any accountability. I feel like the only thing you would change is doing the exact same things in a way that would have made you look even better. To respond to that so it didn't seem like, she was able to spread lies about me and me not speak up and fight for myself like she probably expected I wouldn't do.
In general, if you pay attention to the way that Amberlynn speaks, she uses language in a very specific way. She manipulates language. She says, oh, the bad guys, so that this leaves it open-ended. Oh, if I could say things about Beck, and if you only knew. Again, this leaves things open-ended. When people make open-ended statements, they do this for a reason, right? They could have been direct, but they chose not to be. Amber manipulates language in order to serve her narrative. I think that if Beck wants to respond and wants to make videos about Amber, then go right ahead. Amber has not held back. Amber was explicitly asked by Beck a long time ago, can you please stop talking about me? But Amber wants to keep pushing this narrative that she was the victim between her and Beck. Really? Don't you love your girlfriend Tommy, Amberlynn? Don't you love her so much and respect her so much that you will not talk about exes? Like, is there anything that you won't do while in a romantic relationship where you claim you love that person? Apparently not. If she really loved Tommy, she wouldn't be talking about Beck.
And something else I wanted to talk about was I just found out today that she lost Rarity, and that breaks my heart. Rarity was very special to me. I loved all three of those animals very much. Rarity was like my little shadow toward the end. She followed me everywhere I went, and it was hard to even leave her. And I know when Amber talked about moving to Oklahoma, she was scared that she could only find a place that allowed 2 animals. So she considered giving me Rarity, but that's not what ended up happening. And I sometimes wish that I would have gotten her, because now who knows where Rarity is.
Isn't it interesting how Amberlynn decided to leave that out, that she planned to give Rarity away? Maybe you cared the least about Rarity. At the end of the day, this is what I will say, okay? Amberlynn, this is not the first time that you lose animals, okay? You lost Destiny's, cat Gracie. You lost Rarity, and this will happen again. Basically, I think if she takes her animals to Wisconsin again, she'll lose one of them again. She will keep the door open because the only thing she cares about is herself and not the animals. I don't think it's an accident if it keeps happening. An accident is something that happens once, not over and over and over again. This is already the second time that Amberlynn lost an animal. It's very interesting that you never told us, Amber, that you wanted to give Rarity away. I feel that, of course, if Amber had given some of the animals to Beck, they would still be alive and well. And it's just a shame that these animals had to be with somebody who, in my opinion, did not care about them, Amber.
Advice for anyone going through a narcissist: the most important thing is that you don't feel isolated. That goes for any relationship. If you feel like something is wrong, but you don't feel like your partner wants you to tell anyone else about it, that is a red flag. That's when it's important to talk to your friends and family about what's happening. You can get so engulfed in abuse that you don't even see what's happening to you. Having an outside perspective and a good support system is key to finding the strength to leave.
Very clear that this is an example of an Uno reverse card. Basically, Amberlynn thought that she was going to trash Beck permanently on youtube.com in various people's live chats and live streams. Amber, if you got something to say about Beck, go on your own channel and say it. She knows why she's not going to do it, because she knows the response. At the end of the day, this is the ultimate, response from Beck, because now Amberlynn Reid knows that Beck will continue to respond to Amber if Amber continues to lie. It's very interesting that you laughed at Beck as they were leaving your house destitute after you didn't pay them the money that you owe them when you hired them, Amber. So listen, at the end of the day, I'm not surprised by anybody coming forward from their relationship with Amber. I definitely believe that narcissistic mistreatment is a thing here, and that's me being kind with the word choice. I think that Beck did feel isolated, as they said. I think that it was outrageously inappropriate to keep them from their family and their friends because you wanted to be fully in control, Amber. And here's the thing, and I want to leave you off with this, okay? Whatever the truth actually is, people can't ever change the truth. And I want you to really hear me on this. Whatever the truth is, people can lie about it, but the actual truth remains. What Amberlynn did to Beck in the relationship remains. Amberlynn could lie about it, but I'm sure that there's way more where Beck's video came from. And if Beck wants to continue to respond and to expose Amberlynn, I'm sure that they will. Amber, if I were you, I would go and respond to this on your own channel. Maybe do a live stream. What an exciting time to be alive. All right, girls, thank you all so very much for watching today. I definitely appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed today's video, please check out this other video popping up here. It's on a similar topic. You can go ahead and watch it. If you want to go subscribe to Beck's channel, I will link Beck's channel in my description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.